In the early hours of September 27, 1983, the world came closer to nuclear war than it ever knew. No missiles were launched. No alarms sounded in cities. No governments warned their people. But inside a Soviet command bunker, one man was told that the United States had just launched a nuclear attack. And according to every rule he had been trained to follow, he was supposed to report it, which would have triggered a nuclear response. He didn't, and because of that decision, you're alive. The Cold War was built on a simple idea. If both sides believed nuclear war meant total destruction, neither side would ever start it. This theory was called deterrence. On paper, it was rational. In reality, it depended on machines, assumptions, and human judgment working perfectly, forever. In 1983, that system nearly failed. The Cold War was at one of its most dangerous moments. The Soviet Union believed the United States was preparing for a surprise first strike. American leaders believed the Soviets were aggressive and unpredictable. Both sides were running military exercises that looked indistinguishable from real attacks. Trust was gone. Fear had replaced it. And in the middle of that fear sat a Soviet early warning system designed to detect incoming American nuclear missiles. Its job was simple. If missiles were detected, the system would alert officers who would inform Soviet leadership, who would decide whether to retaliate. In theory, humans were still in control. In practice, the system expected obedience. Shortly after midnight, alarms began to sound. Red warning lights flashed across the control room. The system reported that an American intercontinental ballistic missile had been launched. Then another, then another. 5 missiles in total. According to Soviet doctrine, this was the beginning of a nuclear attack. The officer on duty was Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov. His job was not to make decisions. His job was to report what the system told him. And everything the system was telling him said one thing: war had begun. Petrov knew what would happen next. Once he reported the attack, Soviet leadership would have only minutes to decide. They wouldn't have time to verify the data. They wouldn't have time to debate. They would see missiles coming toward their country and assume the worst, and they would launch their own. That was how deterrence worked, or failed. But something felt wrong. According to the system, only 5 missiles had been launched. Not hundreds, not an overwhelming strike, just 5. Petrov thought about American strategy. If the United States were going to start a nuclear war, it wouldn't do it with 5 missiles. It would do it with everything. The computer insisted the data was correct. The rules said, trust the system. Petrov didn't. At this point, Petrov faced a choice that no one was supposed to face: follow procedure or follow instinct. If he reported the attack and it turned out to be false, nuclear war would still happen. If he didn't report it and the attack was real, the Soviet Union could be destroyed without responding. Either way, the consequences were unthinkable. This is the moment where history often pretends the right choice is obvious. It wasn't. Petrov had seconds to decide. No confirmation from radar. No second system backing it up. Just a computer insisting that missiles were on the way. He chose to wait. He reported a system malfunction. And then he waited for confirmation that never came. If you're enjoying these stories about moments where history could have ended but didn't, subscribe to the channel. We focus on the decisions that almost changed everything, not the myths, not the speeches, but the moments that actually mattered. Because what happens next proves how fragile the world really was. Minutes passed. No explosions. No radar confirmations. No incoming missiles. The alarm was wrong. Later investigations revealed the cause. Sunlight, reflecting off clouds, had fooled the satellite system into detecting missile launches that never happened. The computer did exactly what it was designed to do. It misinterpreted reality, and a human being stopped it from ending the world. What makes this moment even more dangerous is how normal it was. This wasn't a rogue experiment. It wasn't a malfunction discovered during testing. The system was live, operational, trusted. Every day, officers sat in that room believing the machines would tell them the truth. And on that night, the machine didn't fail dramatically. It failed convincingly. It gave clear data, clear warnings, clear certainty, the kind of certainty that leaves no room for doubt. This is what nearly ended the world. Not panic, not madness, but confidence. Confidence in a system that appeared flawless until one person questioned it. Petrov wasn't rewarded. He wasn't celebrated. He was reprimanded. His superiors didn't want to admit how close they had come to catastrophe. Admitting the truth meant admitting the system was flawed, and deterrence only worked if everyone believed the system was perfect. So the incident was buried. Petrov continued his career quietly. The world moved on, unaware of how narrowly it had survived. What makes this story terrifying isn't just how close nuclear war came, it's why it didn't happen. There was no safeguard, no grand design, no genius strategy. There was only one man who hesitated, and that hesitation saved millions of lives. The Cold War is often remembered as a stable balance of power. It wasn't. It was a series of near misses, false alarms, misunderstandings, moments where individuals made decisions under unbearable pressure. Again and again, the world survived not because the system worked, but because someone broke the rules. Stanislav Petrov didn't think of himself as a hero. He said he was just doing his job. But his job description never included saving the world. It included trusting a machine. He chose not to. If this story changed how you see the Cold War, like the video. Subscribe for weekly stories about the moments history almost ended. And comment below, do you think nuclear war was inevitable during the Cold War? Or did humanity survive by chance? Because the most unsettling truth of the nuclear age is this: the world didn't survive because it was safe. It survived because, once in a while, someone said no.